Okay, good afternoon everyone. I'm Dr. Vickram, Professor of Biochemistry. Today's session will be on self-directed learning. So what is learning? We all know. Learning plays an important role in our lives, and professionally it helps us to grow, and personally it makes and keeps us inspired. As a child, we speak, we walk, we read, we write, run, cycle, and so on and so forth. We do all these activities through what? Through our observations, our parents teach us, through formal education, by schooling, where our teachers will teach us many things, curricular things as well as extracurricular. We'll go through books, we read books, we travel. There are experiences which make us learn a lot of things, and also we learn from our mistakes, and then the list goes on. It never ends at this. The list is not exhaustive. If you are not willing to learn, no one can help you. If you are determined to learn, no one can stop you. So with this quote, let us move on to what is self-directed learning, or in short SDL. Now, SDL or self-directed learning basically should start from within. It starts from heart. It starts from a strong internal desire to learn something, to do something, and to change something for better. Many people wait for something to happen, and they wait for someone to do something for them. But those people who end up getting good results, good jobs, with respect to you, becoming a good doctor, or for that matter, getting good health, or getting in good shape, those are the proactive ones who are the solutions for the problems, but not the problems themselves. So the key is becoming proactive, the basic prerequisite which is required for the self-directed learning, or to become a self-directed learner. Now you observe this picture, and what do you understand from this? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. See, most oftentimes parents comes to us, the teachers, and they ask about the performance and the ill performance of the students. Then what the answer we give is, see, we give the best possible teaching, we provide the best resources for the students, but it is up to the students to take what we teach and to acquire knowledge and skills required, which matters to them most. But you can't force them to acquire knowledge. We can only inspire them, we can only motivate them to acquire knowledge by giving them knowledge, but taking up the knowledge is up to you. The Malcolm Knowles in 1975 described self-directed learning as a process in which individual takes the initiative to diagnose their learning needs, formulate learning goals, identify resources, choose and implement learning strategies, and finally evaluate their learning. So this is what he has described to become a self-directed learner, or an effective independent individual learner. It is also called as, sometimes can be called as self-initiated learner, or self-initiated learning, as well as individual learning. to put it across in a simple language, it is an instructional strategy. We have an instructional strategy, classroom strategy, where didactic lectures are taken. We have small group discussions. We also have case discussions. We have other educational strategies. One such strategy is self-directed learning. So it is an instructional strategy where the students, with the guidance from the teacher, decide what and how they will learn. See, pay attention here. I have highlighted what and how. See, in a normal conventional teaching setup, we are giving more emphasis on what you should achieve or what is the goal, but we fail to acknowledge how we are going to actually get into the prescribed or the desired goal. So how becomes the process of getting to what or the goal? Now SDL or self-directed learning emphasizes more on how they will learn. So students will have the flexibility to formulate their own techniques, improvise, innovate, creative techniques, so that you can learn with ease, with no time restrictions, and you can adopt very well, and it makes learning more enjoyable. So you will have the freedom of expression. So you will plan along with the teacher or the mentor or the instructor, you will plan a learning strategy which suits you so that you can learn better. So that is what the whole concept of self-directed learning. So student takes ownership of their learning. This is the main concept which has to be achieved by a self-directed learner. So he has to take ownership. He is the whole and sole responsible for what he is learning. Now SDL is a 4-step process. Step 1 is student has to assess readiness to learn. So in this step, it involves self-evaluation by the student about his study patterns, the support system at home and at the school or the college, and his social behavior, his family condition, and all those things he has to self-evaluate, and also together with that, if any previous self-directed individual learning experience he had, so he has to evaluate all those things. And a good sign of readiness includes confidence, self-driven, organized, ready to communicate effectively, and also ready to accept the constructive feedback from the peers, and also should engage in self-evaluation and self-reflection. So that is the first step, that is assessing the readiness to learn. Coming to the second step, setting learning goals. So it is very important to discuss the learning goals among student and the mentor. So students should discuss about the learning goals with the instructor, and this communication will become very crucial. And also crucial is that the fact, the development of the need of this learning goal, so something called as learning contracts. Generally learning contracts include your time management, your strategies, as well as the structure of the activity, and how are you going to perform the activity, how are you going to grade the activity, and how are you going to take the feedback, and how will you engage in taking or self-evaluation and self-evaluating as well as self-reflecting. Now step 3 is engaging in the learning process. Once the goals are set, you have to start the learning process. So when you engage in learning process, you have to take it seriously each step, and you have to follow whatever the strategies you have made. You have to follow that strategy and learn. And how will you know that you have learned enough, or you have learned to some extent? Okay, I know something about it. And how will you do that? So you will evaluate learning. Once the learning process is complete of the particular topic or the subject, or any small topic in the particular subject, you will start evaluating what you have learned. And how you will evaluate? You will do self-evaluation, as well as you will do, you take a feedback from the instructor, and also you seek for any consultation from the instructor regarding your learning process. The most important thing here also is self-reflecting. So you have to ask questions to yourself. How do I know? How do I know I've learned enough? How do I know what I've learned can be applied? How do I know the skills which I've acquired is of any use? Or am I confident in applying those skills where it matters? Am I confident in applying the material, or am I confident in explaining the content? All these questions you have to ask yourselves, and you will evaluate learning, and the cycle again repeats. So new topic, you will formulate new setting goals, and then again engage in the learning process and evaluate learning. This is how SDL, or self-directed learning process, starts, and it's a continuous process. Now, as we have seen the steps of self-directed learning, now coming to the levels of self-directed learning. So learner at the beginning, almost all, as you are coming from the school directly into the professional course, I believe some of you, or most of you, are in the first stage of learning, where you are dependent on the teachers. So we have to teach you, then only you start reading, or we'll tell you you have to do this, this, this. Then only you will pay attention, take some seriousness in studying. But some will be already interested. We need to push them a little, then they are good to go. So they can study to some extent. And there are involved students who are all determined and self-driven already to some extent. They have taken this course seriously, and they are ready to take up challenges, and those are the students which come under the involved category. And finally, if you are confident enough, if you are organized enough, self-driven, self-motivated, if you are self-disciplined, all these qualities will make you an effective individual learner or self-directed learner. Now, what is the role of teacher here? So teacher, in the traditional teaching setup, he gives you the information and you acquire knowledge. What is knowledge? Knowledge is just accumulation of memory. So when the information is passed on from the teacher, you will try to acquire it, and then whether it is knowledge or skill, whatever, you will acquire it. And we don't know how well you have taken that knowledge. We don't know, we just teach. So the role of teacher is whatever we tell, so you are going to follow or not follow, we don't know. So to some extent we can evaluate, but the role of teacher is limited. Once we take up the self-directed learning strategy, teacher also transforms or evolves as to the level of facilitator. So he shifts his role as teaching everything, whatever he knows, to the student, by not just guiding them to where to search for the resource, what you should get, how you prepare for the learning process and all. So student takes the ownership, as I already told you, and the student actually do the learning process, and teacher will be there as a facilitator or a guide or a mentor who will be overlooking all the things what you are doing, how you are going about a particular topic. So this makes you more confident, and teacher, as I said, will be transformed into a facilitator. So he is the modern day teacher may be called as a facilitator. So he encourages the initiatives, the creativeness of a student for the effective learning by students. Now, what are the qualities of self-directed learner? Autonomy or independence, self-reliable is the quality one should have to become a self-directed learner. Desire for learning, which is one of the most important prerequisites for learning. Self-management, he should be able to self-manage. Problem solving. So all these are the qualities of self-directed learners. So I believe most of you have seen this caption. This is a caption from movie Three Idiots, a famous movie of our time. So who is he? Chatur, aka the silencer, Chatur Ramalingam. So what it does, so he takes the speech, a written speech from a librarian. He doesn't know what is there in that. He just mucks up, reads on, and is prepared for the speech. And he doesn't know what is the content of the speech, and he just simply go and make a mockery of himself. So it's funny. So passive learner situation is same as Chatur Ramalingam or the silencer. Most of the students coming out of schools to a professional course like MBBS, they are in this state. So you have to come out of this. No more mugging up. You have to rely on critical reasoning. You have to rely on asking relevant questions, studying, understanding the concepts, and not to be relying on exclusively on what the teacher tells you to do or what teacher teaches you in the class. You have to be proactive. You have to learn by yourself. You have to start that habit of learning by yourself, because the teacher has now shifted his role to a facilitator. We will provide all the resources what you need, and we will guide you. But the main thing, see, one more thing I would like to tell all of us, all of you students are doing self-directed learning, isn't it? Yes or no? Yes, of course, but you are doing it unconsciously. See, you only have to study whatever you have studied in school. You are getting first rank or getting a pass. It is all by your efforts. You are doing it. If you have taken it seriously, you have scored it well, and you are here, right? So you are doing self-directed learning, but it is not structured. You are doing it unconsciously. So something you will learn here once you come physically into the institution. You will learn the art of self-directed learning in a structured manner so that you can improve your individual learning skills, so that it will help you. We'll see what are the benefits of doing self-directed learning. So you must, all of you must have already understood what is a passive learner or dependent learner by now, right? Now see the second image, the same movie. So who is he? What's the name of Amir Khan in this movie? Rancho. Rancho. Yes, correct. So what it does, you have seen in the movie, he he is not following the herd, right? He is different. He is not different actually. He is self-driven. He is doing self-directed learning in the movie where he is applying his skills. See, the goal is getting an engineering degree, but how he gets the degree is very important. He is not following the bookish knowledge. His approach is different. He is taking the approach to a new level. He is creative, he is innovative in his approach, right? So, but the end result is what? He becomes a graduate, right? He also becomes a graduate, the silencer. But who you acquiring just mere acquiring knowledge is not important. So the most important thing is common sense. You have to have the common sense, and also you have to have the right skill, which matters most. Not only don't study only for your salary hike or getting a good job. Don't do that. In that, Amir Khan also tells you, don't run behind success. So run behind excellence, success will chase you down, right? So with that, so he becomes an active learner, and or in other words, self-directed learner. I want all of you to become that self-directed learner, not just simply coming to the class for attendance, sitting in the class and be a silencer. So we don't need silencers in the class, we need ranchos in the class, okay? So what is the need for SGL in medical education? So it is more important as you students are concerned. So we have discussed about the general aspects of SDL, which holds good for all the professional courses or any course or anybody. But what is its role in medical education? The medical education is adult learning. Adult learning is one. So you are shifting from your teenage to adulthood, where you have the capacity to think, you will make critical decisions, you will have choice, you will have freedom of expression. So SDL here, or self-directed learning, has its root in adult learning. So mainly SDL is practiced in adult learning. So it is a good thing which is included in the medical course. The field of medicine is ever expanding, ever evolving. Yesterday's knowledge or best practice may be insufficient or go obsolete tomorrow. So you may have to be equipped with additional skills. You may have to acquire more knowledge or additional knowledge, or you have to adopt or improvise on already what you have. So for all these things you have to be proactive, you have to learn by yourself. The teachers won't be available all the times. So you can get a guide or a mentor throughout the walks of your life, but the ultimate effort and the ultimate result you will get only when you are self-involved, when you are self-driven. So ultimately the goal of SGL in medical education is making you a lifelong learner. So everybody is learning daily. So even I am learning, everyone is learning, maybe unconsciously they are learning, but you have to sustain in the future, which is unpredictable. You may have to gear up and equip with additional set of skills which are required or matter for you on that day or in that scenario. So we have to be ready to take the task, and we have to ready to learn whatever it is required or whatever matters to us. Now the good thing is the new curriculum which is formulated by MCI has dedicated time slots for SDL, wherein you will learn in more depth what are the processes involved, how are you going to be benefited by this self-directed learning. See, because medical students are likely to work in different contexts during their professional career, so their job will be shifting from one role to another, so you have to adapt, you have to improvise. For that, constant individual learning is required. So doctors does need to keep learning and engaging in continuing education. So it plays a major role for the doctors here in acquiring the knowledge, and engaging in continuing education will help them to be efficient in the present scenario as well as in the coming unpredictable situations. Now, what are the responsibilities or the roles of self-directed learners? So responsibilities here are not only on you, responsibility is also on us, the teachers or an instructor. First we will see what are the roles of or responsibilities of students. So student has to self-assess the readiness to learn. He has to define learning goals and develop learning contracts, monitor your learning process. So you have to monitor your own learning process, you have to be self-motivated, you have to be self-disciplined, you have to be self-driven, you have to re-evaluate and alter goals as and when required, and consult with your advising instructor as required. If there is any modifications you would like to do, so you have to consult the instructor who is there for you for the particular topic or the subject, will guide you through that. Now the next is the instructor's role. What the instructor has to do with self-directed learning. He serves as facilitator, as I have already told, rather than a formal instructor. So he will be superficially monitoring your activity, your learning, and he will give constant feedback as and when the goal is achieved. He helps motivate and direct the students' learning experience, and he creates an atmosphere wherein you can share your initiatives, share your ideas of new learning methodologies which we are not following. We can incorporate that as well. So facilitate students' initiatives for learning. He will be available for students all the time, especially during the SDL sessions. What we achieve through self-directed learning or individual learning, so we'll get the zeal to learn or the enthusiasm to learn. Our curiosity will be heightened. So because when you are given the freedom of expression, you will do it in your way. We'll tell you, do it in your way, study it in your way. But the ultimate goal in medical education is what? To become a competent IMG or Indian medical graduate. That is your goal. How you achieve it? It is up to you. Use your techniques, use your own skills, develop your own methodologies to acquire the knowledge and skills, and enhance critical reasoning, better retention of acquired knowledge and adaptivity. So these are all very important key elements which you are going to imbibe once you start exploring the art of self-directed learning or individual learning. Also enhanced ability to recognize knowledge deficits. There will be a gap, lacunae in our study methods or in our learning, and you have to be up to date with the current knowledge. Nowadays accessing knowledge is very damn easy, where you have e-libraries or digital libraries, not only the hard copies, you have PDF books, journals, you have audio files, you have YouTube. See, once you come to the campus, and I'm sure you will learn one more thing. If you are not in the habit of washing your clothes, you will wash your clothes, right? So you can put the damn question in the YouTube, how to wash clothes, it will show you. See, now the technology is so advanced, you can ask anything, it will show you it will show the skill, you can learn it. See, it is not shameful to admit that you don't know a simple skill, not like that. See, when the necessity comes, you will learn that particular skill, that's it, it's that simple. So when you are in medical education, so your duty or job is to learn the subjects and the art of medical education or the profession, where you learn the skills which is required to become a good doctor. So what are the key points or take home messages for you? So once you are coming, maybe in the next 10 days you will be coming, so be prepared, be self-driven, come self-driven with self-discipline, and take the responsibility, because your parents have done it for you, they are struggling for you, it is your responsibility to make them proud. So take the responsibility of that for making them proud, and once you are here, we are there to help you, to guide you through the medical course. Okay, and when I'm a sports person, I used to play basketball. So I used to see my coach used to carry one plank with the sentence, plan the work and work the plan. So it is as simple as that. Self-directed learning involves this. And I have added one more thing I didn't know at that time, because I'll only have to evaluate, not the coach. So I have to plan the work or plan the study, and I have to work it out in whatever ways which I enjoy, and then I have to evaluate if there are any shortcomings, if I'm having any weak points, or I also will be knowing what are my strong points. So all I will take into consideration, and I'll improvise, I'll improve my technique of learning. And most importantly, it goes beyond your medical profession. In your life, every day we are learning, and for effective learning, we have to adopt the same strategies, same processes, and become a lifelong learner. So never stop learning, because life never stops teaching. Thank you. If you have any doubts, or if you want to ask me any question, you're free to ask. Anyway, I'll be meeting you all soon.
Sir, when will offline class start, sir?
I think in February first week. It's for February 2nd, to be more precise. Okay, there is a white coat ceremony on February 2nd. I think following days the classes will commence.
When should hostel students come there, sir?
I think this is not related to my topic. So if you have any specific doubts about this session, you can ask me, or tomorrow the hostel warden, Dr. Kanyakumari ma'am, will inform you in detail about all the related hostel queries. Okay? Okay, if you have any doubts, anyone regarding self-directed learning, you can ask, or else I'll end my session. Okay, thank you.